Let's talk about the future of Manchester United women, because Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the co-owner of Manchester United, has been speaking to the press yesterday. Now, naturally, the men's game pull all of the headlines in this discussion. He's discussing some players, the idea of wages being the way they are at the minute. There's quotes saying that they're overpaid and they're overrated. They're being kind of put together out of context. I have gone through the quotes in details today, focusing on the likes of Casemiro, Rasmus Højlund, Andre Onana, Anthony, Jadon Sancho. Even without buying players this summer, they still have to pay for these players, and they're costing £17 million each. Big, big money we talk about with Manchester United. And actually, they're on that brink of being insolvent had Jim Ratcliffe not have sorted some things out and start to make the job cuts that he's made at the club. 450 staff members have also lost their job. One of those jobs that were lost was a body language expert, Ruesha, 175 grand a year.
Wow.
Yeah. One of them got chopped.
Body language expert.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You paid someone to assess someone else's body language? Is body language not...
Do you know
pretty
what?
clear.
I'm like, your body language is stinking. Or it's not. Is that straightforward? Is that straightforward to me? But see if you've got someone sitting here, body language expert, and they're like that. I'm sat like this, and they'd be like, oh,
She's closed off.
you're closed.
You're protecting
You're
yourself.
cold. Oh, your trauma. You don't want to be part of this team. I'd be like, shut the up.
I've crossed my legs.
Get
I need a pee.
Go away. Like that stuff. I'm like, oh, come on.
And that body language expert is joining us on the show now. That's a good job, though. Yeah. But also, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, right. I don't mind the guy, as I am a supporter of Manchester United through my husband, right? Celtic and Man United. Yes, I can have two clubs. Don't make it your issue, it's my issue. But I like the fact that he's kind of sat down with the media and he's trying to show the fans what he's doing. But there's a lot of focus on Jim Ratcliffe when it comes to his thoughts on the women's team, because he'd said in the past it wasn't his main concern. Mm-hmm. There was Katie Zelem had recently spoken about the time she met him. It's a famous picture of Sir Jim Ratcliffe meeting Katie Zelem. She was the captain of Man United at the time, and he asked her, "What is it you do here?" And I was like, "Oh, you know, car crash." For anyone who works at a big company, you know, at least know the people. He should have a liaison saying, "By the way, that's Katie Zelem. She's the captain of the women's team." Like, even if you don't know her, at least act like you know her. His recent quotes, Ruesha, from this interview: "My main focus is in the men's team, because at the end of the day, it is what moves the needle at Manchester United. Of our £650 million of income, 640 of that comes from the men's team and 10 million comes from the women's team. But the women's team wear the Manchester United brand, the Manchester United logo. So in that sense, they are every bit as important as the men's team." Thoughts?
It seems like he's been briefed a bit better on this one. So he is saying they are part of the club. I understand the numbers are huge that the men's team make. But I still feel like what the women's team are making right now is massive. And it's only going to get bigger and better. So I would kind of still be like, okay, but keep investing in them. Stick with it. Because times are changing. I know he's a bit an older man. He's obviously a businessman, and probably quite a good businessman. But I'd be like, just be a wee bit more open-minded and stick with the women's side of things, because it is going places.
Yeah.
And that's it. I'd seen a lot of things, because it's like he's maybe cut certain things. Like, I think there's a lot of staff that don't now get fed, that would get fed. And I've seen the comments going wild, because people are like, well, who all gets their lunch at work, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, there is some jobs where it would be expected if you're in all day and you're part of a team. And sometimes you look at like, football is not a normal job. It's not a normal job, especially when you're in Manchester United men's side of things. Yeah. You're in all the time. Like, they get days off are few and far between. And you're travelling, away games, European games. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so I would expect to get my bloody lunch then.
Really? I mean,
dinner. Yes.
I'm split on that. I mean, at talkSPORT, first thing in the morning, we get pastries and we get fruit. Yeah. Right? And I think that's nice, but I don't eat them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I think sometimes it becomes like a novelty that can wear off. But when they cut the pastries recently, Alan Brazil was fuming. He was like, how could they take away the one thing that we come in the morning at this time, and that's your little thing to make you go, I've had a pastry, they value me, you give me a breakfast, whatever. We get fruit and we need fruit. But also at the same time, I think, like, I make my kids lunches for the morning. You know, it's a sandwich. Like, why do you expect to get given your lunch?
It's a different environment, do you know what I mean? So That's it's totally different.
Aye, but these aren't squad members.
You're
These
in
aren't
Carrington.
professional athletes.
So I've seen some about like what kind of staff, and I'm like, well, where do they draw the line? Who's more important? And I think that's it. It's like making everyone feel valued in this community, and I think that's where Man United just went wrong at some point. Like they're miles off it. So right now, I'm just like, make people feel valued, and people are going to want to perform and work for you.
Absolutely. And I think even his language there, ever so slightly, I think is a slight indication of, oh, balls. I probably didn't say the best things about the women's team, and they are Manchester United, and I am the co-owner of this club. So his language is important there. So I feel it's been checked ever so slightly this time in this interview. One thing else is that Man United are now pushing Old Trafford and the Manchester Derby, which is at the beginning of May, for 50,000 tickets. So they're really trying to push this game. Yeah. They're trying to push the women's media side of things and make sure that they are getting that love because some old guy put his foot in his mouth. Sorry, am I not allowed to call him old? Maybe not. Maybe take that out if you feel safer. But I mean, some senior man, you know, I think if that is the same at the top, if it's a whole bunch of Jim Ratcliffe looking people in a room, you will forget about the women. So I think to be checked on that, try and put it right, it raises that bit more awareness. By the way, the women are doing bits, second in the league. You know,
Manchester United,
semi-final of the
cup. Massive club. And rightly so, they should be pushing the women's games. Obviously, it's becoming like the consistency when they play at Old Trafford, kind of consistently start getting bums on seats and selling tickets the way it's been happening kind of at the Emirates. That's what we need to see. Keep pushing for that. But it's a lot of hard work. But it's only going one way. So hopefully teams keep supporting.
Anyway, wonderful chat, Ruesha. Good luck to the Man United girls. By the way, we will always continue speaking positively and shining the light on this show, as you do as well in the comments. You can like and subscribe. Rue, hopefully next time we see you, we're going to know what I'm up to. Considering like it is nearly the end of the season, hon.
I know.
You've had an easy season.
You know me, I like to just play 1 or 2 games here or there, take a few months off. I just think, why burn yourself out when you don't have to?
Yeah, you could drink Whispering Angel with me.
Do you know what I mean? That's it. We're heading that way, isn't it?
We're
heading to that.
We are
It's
heading
actually dangerous territory.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.